the hottest show on daytime television. And I've been waiting all week for you, yes, you, to stop on by and watch our show. And what a powerful show we've got lined up for you today. Backed by popular demand, best-selling author Michael Puskas is back with his new book, Insights for Abundant Living, Learning to Live from Within. Michael has some powerful things to share that are geared towards helping you live a more abundant life. So without any further ado, let's crack open our God-Made Millionaire Bank Vault and let's activate some God-given dreams. Michael, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Great to be here.
I'll tell you what, you were here during our debut season on season 1. What I want to do is I want to take a moment and play a short little clip from your appearance here on season 1.
Great. My history goes back to 1973. I got saved, and it was a dramatic salvation. I was 17 years old, and my first thing I wanted to do was serve the Lord, so I just got busy serving the Lord, but at the same time I got caught up in traditional denominational religion,
right,
where healing and success and prosperity are not mentioned.
Right.
You just serve God in a biblical way. Eventually, it wasn't until I was in my early 50s that I looked at my life, and a lot of Christians are probably right there right now. You look at your life and you say, my life does not match what the Bible says.
Right.
And that made me mad.
Right.
And so I just began to search, and as I discovered things, my eyes were open, and I just felt like the reason I wrote the book is because the path I went through, I would like to cut that way down for somebody else, because the things I wrote in this book, if people would just do even a few of them, their lives would change dramatically. Because here's the thing, the reason why I call it success, it's your choice, because it is.
Michael, you've been busy
Yes.
since season 1.
Yes.
With your writing of the book, your best-selling book that debuted on the Amazon bestseller list, Abundant Living, Learning to Live Life from Within. So I want to congratulate
Thank you.
and give you honor. That's a heck of an accomplishment to debut #1 on the Amazon bestseller list, and you beat out some pretty big names too.
Yeah, John Maxwell was one of them. That was amazing.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your inspiration for writing this book, Abundant Living.
Well, when I was on your show last time, I already had the title picked out for the second book. Dilly-dallied around, as you know I do, and and wrote the book, and was getting ready to. Sandy was editing it, my wife, who's my editor-in-chief, and I didn't like it.
Let's be clear about this. Sandy is more than an editor-in-chief.
Yeah, she is.
All right.
But don't let her know, okay?
Yeah, you married up there,
yeah,
big boy.
I did. We were going through the editing process, and it just didn't feel good, so I literally trashed it. But before I did that, I got these little messages on Facebook from this gal called Vicki Bradley, and she encouraged me to put my Facebook post, compile them into a book. Oh yeah, I'll do that. And I sort of blew it off till eventually I started looking at the posts and I started pulling them out. And that's how this book was put together. And that's why it's called Insights. It's not written like a typical book where you have chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it carries a theme through it. This book is truly insights. It's not meant to be read as a normal book, but it's meant to be read by each insight, because each insight has a lot of thought and a lot of provoking things in some of them that people really need to think about before they move on to the next one.
You are correct. I happen to be a witness to the fact that my wife is
Yes.
your #1 fan.
Yes.
And what's interesting, Michael, is that she uses this book like a devotional to start her morning. And it's incredible. She just loves the insights. And we were talking before the show started about the difference between something that is information and inspiration
Right.
and revelation.
Right.
There's a profound difference when you can write something that not only inspires people, but also it gives them revelation.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do that, then you've got a winner, and that's what you have here in your book. Can you speak to that? The
Yes.
difference about the revelation? Because there's
Definitely.
a price for that revelation,
Yes,
isn't there?
there is.
Talk about that.
And so, yeah, a lot of people, can sit down and construct a book based upon knowledge, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm not that kind of writer. So that book, and even my other book, came out of my time in the morning. I have a devotional time in the morning. I sit in my command center chair. And
Do you have a pillow on your chair?
No, I don't. It's my command center. I sit there and I pray, I consider, I meditate. And so every one of those Facebook posts came out of that time. And what was interesting is I would put down my pen because I'm a big journaler. I journal a lot. And so I put down my pen and I would pick up my iPhone and start literally texting out what you would see in that book, and it just flowed out. And so back to the thing about the revelation came, lights go on. I can't explain it. It's almost like it's a wow moment that you have, at least for me in the morning. Wow, that's really good. And so I just basically write, and it's truly revelation. It's light.
I believe that. I've experienced that myself, because would you agree that we get so busy sometimes living life and communicating with social media, all the things that vie for our attention, and
Right.
and that revelation comes from those quiet times before your day started, or
Absolutely.
maybe before your day ends. It's amazing the revelation that people can get from God if they slow down.
Yes.
And they tune out the distractions and they get alone with their God, the revelation that can come. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with that. From birth, we're programmed. The ear is the first thing that develops in the womb, other than the brain and the heart. But the ear is one of the first senses that develops. And so the baby can hear almost right away. So what's the baby hearing? It's collecting information. Then we come out into the world, and then we get more information. It's our parents, and a lot of it's, some of it's good, some of it's not good, because we're programmed with limiting beliefs, what's possible, what's impossible, and eventually you hear things like, oh, you'll never become I wanted to be a doctor, and, I hear, you'll never become a doctor. Nobody in our family ever become a doctor. So we're being programmed by these limiting beliefs. Then we go to school and get some more. Then we go to college and get some more. Then we work around people that are full of living by their five senses instead of living from within. If we live from within, there would be nothing impossible to us. Absolutely nothing. Because we can go and become like children, as Jesus said, and imagine. Just sit there and imagine what you want, and draw the pictures and make it into a movie and put some emotion into it and feeling into it. And if you do that, it is just a matter of time before it will materialize in space and time, because that's how all creation happens. Because the truth is, TC, we are creators. We were made as co-creators. God made us in his image and likeness to create. And our heart and our mind and our intuition or imagination is the potter's house within our being, where we can form anything we want. And that's why some people have extraordinary success and everybody calls them lucky. No, they're not lucky. They learned how to listen and tune in to what's going on inside of them, and then allowing what's going on inside of them to be arranged, because God will then go to work and arrange everything to make that dream or that imagination or that vision a reality. It's about going within and creating what you want in life, not what life gives you. Here I am, I'm 67, I just turned 67, and it was in my mid-50s, and I was, up to that point, I was just being led around by everybody else's beliefs and practices and what they said was true and everything else. I never really took the time to sit down and say, this doesn't make sense. Is this true? And I started questioning it literally about everything. And when I started questioning everything, when I went within and I considered, how can this be? And then answers started flowing within me, I became a different person.
How important is it, do you believe, to ask the right questions?
At the beginning, you don't know what questions to ask,
right.
But I think that you have to be bold enough to ask the right questions, because some questions people don't want to, kind of scary to want to know. Like, I won't get into it too much, but I had to ask the question, God, who are you? Because most people picture God, I'm just going to say it, he's up there on a throne, and he's got the book, and he's looking for, how's your behavior? Are you doing good or evil? And then we get punished or we get rewarded. You know, God punishes with cancer and with all sorts of things that teach you lessons. So this is crazy talk. How can you say, now I begin to question, how can you say that? And with the other side of your mouth say, God is love.
Right.
And his love is unconditional. Which leads me into a point, something else I learned, that God loves me unconditionally. And I told some people the other day in a little talk I gave, I said, why don't we just show God some fun? Because he wants to live through us. He's in us to live through us. But no, if we're busy thinking of him in heaven, then we're what I call, we're suffering from separation anxiety, which a lot of Christians suffer from. They feel separated from God. God's out there. I got to yell at him. I got to scream at him. No, he's not. He's right with you. Even Paul told the Athenians, in him you live and move and have your being. He's everywhere. It's not hard. He loves you. He wants to give you the desires of your heart. And I just didn't buy into that until I realized, you know what? I am reverently, not fearful. I don't like that word, because the better word is reverently and wonderfully made. And that's everyone in the audience that's listening to me right now. You are awesome and wonderfully made. And there's nothing to be afraid of when it comes to God.
Michael, I have to honor you because at 67 years of age, you've authored a best-selling book. This is your second book. You didn't start your writing career until your late 50s.
Right.
You didn't start. How many people are watching the show right now and they think my time has passed?
Yep, a lot of people.
My season has passed me. I want you to speak right now to the people that have that, because here's the thing. If God has given you that dream and birthed that dream into you, that dream is still there. I don't care what age you are. But, Michael, I want you to be an example, a testimony. There are people right now that are watching this going, they're best-selling authors right now. Speak a message to those people right now. They were right where you are at, and they think, my season has passed me. My time has passed. Speak to them if you wouldn't mind.
You know, I hear all the time, when are you going to retire? Because I'm 67. I do have I am employed full-time. And my answer is, never. I am refiring. It's kind of interesting that our society is ready to throw away the most valuable people on the planet, and that is those, you know, in their 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, because no one has the gifts and the talents and the wisdom that you've accumulated over the years. The problem is that most of us, and I sympathize with you, have believed the lie that you are just the way you are, and you can't do what you feel inside you want to do. So you just let all that garbage pile up on you, and you leave here unfulfilled. And thank God that I came to a place in my life that I realized that there is something within me. I have no business writing a book. My English is terrible. My grammar's terrible. Everything else is terrible. But God gave me a wife who can do all that kind of stuff. And so God will arrange everything in your life and bring people into your life for your moment. All you have to do is say, I am somebody. God made me special. It's in me. And I want him to enjoy what he intended for me to enjoy.
Michael Puskas, wonderfully said. I'm on set right now with best-selling author Michael Puskas. We'll be back after a short break. Hey everybody, T.C. Bradley, host of God Made Millionaire TV, and I'm honored and privileged to host the hottest show on TV, where each and every Sunday we feature God's people, faith-based entrepreneurs and leaders activating their God-given dream right before your very eyes. I want to encourage you that if you're somebody that God has given a God-given dream, I invite you to come on our set and activate your God-given dreams. Book a call with our producers and walk in your destiny. Michael, you talk about in your book, Insights for Abundant Living, this is not just a book about prosperity.
No.
You want to touch on that, please?
It's about abundant living. You know, Jesus, everybody, a lot of people quote the verse, but they don't really believe it. Jesus said, I come that you might have life and have it in abundance, right?
Right.
That's why I wrote that book, because that is the truth. God never, why would God, who is all powerful, all knowing, all wonderful, loving, just everything everybody says he is, would send you here ill-equipped, would send you here broke, sick, messed up, destined to become an alcoholic because 19 generations were alcoholics and all that kind of stuff? No, that is not the truth. I don't care how, people are born with handicaps, but even in that, I have seen those people live life abundantly, because they found out that we're not living from without in, we're living from within out. We are spirit, and one good friend of mine said that we are spirit slowed down to visibility.
Wow.
So I see T.C. Bradley the way you look here, but that's not the real you. The real you is in there doing all the things, telling your body or instructing your body on what to do, but the real you is spirit. And so that is, if we could understand that our energy, our essence comes from within, and we start to live that way, our life will change, and it can happen fast. It's not something that I have to work up for 10 years. It can happen very, very quickly.
Michael, what has been a defining moment for you? Take us back to that time where it was a defining moment and it really altered the course of your life, the destiny of your life and the life you now live.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was just thinking about it the other day. I was in my office in the home we used to live in, totally, Sandy and I were living paycheck to paycheck, or even worse in most cases. And that was the thing that really bothered me. We were broke all the time. We couldn't enjoy the things we wanted to enjoy in life. So that moment of feeling broke and then feeling this is not the gospel I have been reading about, and it made me mad. I got angry. So that started me on a dig. I went digging. I went to all the prosperity authors. I read everything and that you can imagine, and still it helped, but I still didn't get it. But eventually, when I learned to just focus on going inside and trusting that hunch and those feelings, that's when things begin to turn around. But the defining moment was when I've had enough. And there's got to be people out there that's had enough. You had enough of being sick. You had enough of being broke. That's your beginning. Right. That's your beginning. Don't give up now, because you're just now at a place where you can find the truth. That was a promise. I don't have to be broke.
How does a person change that mentality? Especially you spent the first season of your life living according to someone else's mentality. How do you break free of that poverty mentality, Michael?
Well, it was hard in the beginning because I went the hard way. I was learning and reading, and I went the hard way. I think the key is this: learn who you are. Learn that you were born with everything you need to be abundant. That is the truth. You weren't, I don't care if you were born in a poor family. That's because they had a poor, broke mentality. You don't have to have that poor, broke mentality. You can change that. So understand, I am a success. Do you realize how powerful it is to say, I am a success? I mean, God said I am.
Right.
Right? So when we say, I am, and follow that with anything, those words are energy. Like let's say, I am rich. That word rich is energetic. That's why words work, because they're energy that goes out to look for a corresponding thing in the universe, if you will, to bring those riches back to you. So for me, in my business, I'm in sales, business comes to me because I say, I am a money magnet. I'm a success magnet. It comes to me. So when I say I am, I give energy to whatever I say after that. I am well. I am prosperous. I am rich. I am happy. Whatever I say after I am, those words become energetic and define the energy that I want in my life. So words are the definition of the energy I want in my life.
Michael, in the time that we live in, such uncertainty, so many people are struggling, so many people are having a hard time. People facing economic trauma, financial trauma, health trauma, relationships are in distress.
Yeah.
What would be your counsel right now to these people that they're going through? They're going through it, man. And some of them are going through it, and they've never gone through such a season in their life. What would be your counsel to them?
Most likely they got to where they are because of the two challenges we talked about. Number one, they don't know who they are. So the first thing I'd want to do is unearth who they really are. I'd like to show them and reveal to them, whether it be through scripture or even their own inner sense, their own personal value. Not only in God's eyes, but in their own, not only in their eyes, I would say, but in God's eyes. That has to be fixed. That has to be remedied. I am perfect as I am. Then we begin to see how God is. Then I would show them how to talk to yourself, for example. You know, the woman with the issue of blood, she went the conventional route. She went, I'm going to go spend all my money on doctors. Yes, I'm going to get the specialist on hemorrhaging. You're the hemorrhage doctor, here's all my money. Gave it all up. Not one doctor could help her. She heard a story about a man named Jesus.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So, you know what she did? She said within herself, she sealed her own fate. Right. She said within herself, if I could but touch the hem of his garment, I will be made well. Not I might be made well, I will be made well. So she then acted on her imagination, because that took place in imagination, by the way.
Right.
I teach people how to make movies in their mind. That's what I do. She went according to her imagination, and she went and did exactly what she imagined, and it exactly happened the way she imagined. Now, I've told people this. If she would have said, if I would just stand on my head and get my face all red, I will be healed, it would have happened that way. It would have happened that way, because didn't Jesus say it's according to your faith?
Right.
You know what Jesus said? I had nothing to do with it.
It's your faith.
It's your faith did it. And then you go with the centurion, the same thing. The centurion said, hey, you don't have to come over here. Just speak a word. That was his vision. And it happened exactly as he believed. And that's the truth that's what happens through the Bible. So what I have to do is, what do I want to happen? Envision it happening and just let it unfold. Take a chill pill, for crying out loud. There's a thing in my book about stop trying to make it happen. Decide what you want and let God arrange the T.C. Bradleys that need to be in your life and the Sandys that need to be in whoever needs to be in your life to make your dream come true. It will come true. You just have to learn how to take your hands off and stop trying to figure it out.
Wonderful. Mr. P.
Yes.
Michael Puskas.
Yes.
We are almost out of time. before we wrap our show, please tell us what you're up to, what you've got cooking in the future for you, and how people can get in touch with you.
Well, I do plan on continue to write. I love it, and so I'll continue to do that. People can reach me on my website, michaelpuskas.com. Can't get any easier than that. Or they can
We're going to drop a link down below.
Yeah, or they can email me at michael@michaelpuskas.com. I'd be glad to answer, I would respond to anybody who contacted me.
Plus, your Facebook is incredible.
Yeah, go to my Facebook. Look me up on Facebook. I don't know. It's facebook.com/Mike Puskas on that. And I get a lot of compliments on the Facebook page. And I get a few people that get mad at me because I'm not orthodox, because I think outside the box, which is in my book as well.
Right. Will you come back and see me?
I will.
All right. For the third time, we will come back. Thank you so much for sacrificing to come on our show. You lift the veil on so many people's eyes right now that are really going through it, Michael. And congratulations again on your best-selling book. I look forward to having you back on this show so we can deep dive even more so on some very life-changing topics that will impact your life. So thank you so much, Michael.
Good. Thank you, TC.
Hey, Mr. P, we're at the end of another show. I see you brought your shades to do our prosperity dance. Are you ready to do your prosperity dance?
I am ready. Big Mike, hit the music.
Hey everybody, TC Bradley, host of God Made Millionaire TV, and I was thinking the other day of how my life was profoundly impacted and changed for the better when I published my first book, Supernatural Success. Within 45 days of publishing that book, I signed a major TV deal to feature and promote my book on that TV show. After that, I published another book, got invited back to another TV show. If you're watching this video, listen. You've been given a God-given dream to publish a book. He's given you an assignment to do, and like me, you want to try to talk yourself out of it. I didn't talk myself out of it, and my life was profoundly changed. I want to help you publish your book. If you've been given a God-given dream, an assignment to publish your book, well, we have a publishing company designed specifically from A to Z to handle all of those details for you. All you need to do right now at this point is set an appointment up with our publishing company so that we can talk to you about bringing your book to the marketplace and your voice to the nations on our show, God Made Millionaire TV, as a published author.